New ideas for Shark Attack simulation rides. Six Flags. Call me. I'm Kevin Leeson.
How fast does a mega shark have to get to reach a flying passenger jet 200 meters above sea level? Find out today. I'm Joe Fulgham.
Victim of a shark attack? Love questionnaires? Who are you gonna call? I'm Torrin Atkinson. These questions and more answered tonight on Caustic Soda, the podcast. And here we are on our very first episode of Caustic Soda. Shark attacks!
Woo!
For or against? Pro or con?
For the shark or for the hapless victim?
Both. Has there ever been a situation where a shark and the shark attack victim lived happily ever after? I submit to you that there has been.
I would agree with that, actually. Yes. Because most people do survive shark attacks, and then the survivor has one hell of an awesome story.
That's true.
I mean, you try and tell people how much money you make. Oh, you know, last year we made $500,000 in net profit. Yeah, I was attacked by a shark.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of the swinging the big stick in every conversation
Yeah.
point of view, isn't it? What about, or you could become inspired and have like a life mission to study sharks from that point forward.
That's true. I'm sure that's happened many times.
I saw an IMAX.
Once bitten, never shy.
I saw an IMAX shark movie where there was this 60-year-old man, and he was obsessed with sharks, and then halfway through the movie, he takes his shirt off and has this massive great white shark bite scar.
Chicks dig scars.
Yeah, not this one. It was horrifying.
Oh, was it?
Horrifying. He practically sawn in half. It was like 400 stitches or something ridiculous.
The pinup for this episode is Andrea Lynch.
See, those are sexy scars.
She's got some sexy scars here. She's showing off her torso. This is a young woman who was attacked by a shark while she and some of her friends were appreciating the when the algae becomes bioluminescent at certain times of the year.
Right.
You know about this, Kevin?
Please tell me
Algae.
more.
Well, there's this algae lives in the ocean, and at certain times of the year, at night, it becomes luminescent with the various chemical reactions.
Especially when a ship goes through it. I've seen the pictures of
when
the
it's
wake of the ship when it's disturbed, and you've got this glowing trail behind the ship. Really,
and
really
then
cool.
she was attacked by a shark, bitten on her torso, survived. And I think that makes her a little bit sexier.
I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Shark bites are sexy.
Yeah.
How about the teenage surfer Bethany Hamilton, the armless wonder? Is it kind of bittersweet? I mean, is she a talented surfer who's getting lots of press because of her talents, or is she a so-so surfer who gets lots of press because she surfs with a single arm?
Bethany Hamilton was Hawaii's top female surfer in her age group.
Ah,
I understand. And
she's overcoming adversity.
Yeah, and she made headlines in 2003 after being attacked by a 14-foot tiger shark.
The tiger shark?
The tiger shark, one of the 3 most dangerous sharks in the world. Gone surfing on Halloween. Think about it. With their best friend.
Under a full moon?
Maybe. And she was on her surfboard, which, as we all know, is usually when most shark attacks occur. Because when you're a shark, when you're a dumb old shark swimming in the ocean, you look up, you're looking for turtles, you're looking for sea lions.
Yeah.
What does a person on a surfboard look like?
Yeah.
Paddling through the water.
Half
Both,
turtle, half sea lion.
some kind of horrible sea lion turtle hybrid, which looks delicious.
Yeah.
I was about to say, not
And high
horrible
fat.
to a shark.
And high fat, yeah,
Which
yeah.
I understand the sharks require for their diet.
Well, yeah, they're apex predators.
Apex predators.
Don't you think?
Top of the food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't evolved in 400 million years, I heard? Something like
that. Bethany Hamilton lost 60% of her blood, survived, and in water less than a month later. Lost her, what, was it an arm?
Left arm.
Bit her arm off just below the shoulder.
Yeah, it's gone. Completely gone.
That's so sad. Or is it? Because now she's the awesome championship surfer, let's say.
Would you
with only one arm.
Know who Bethany Hamilton is
if we
were
didn't
it
put
not
this
for Shark Attack?
For Shark Attack Day. on caustic soda, as we're calling it?
Should we go around the room and introduce ourselves? I mean,
Sure.
this is, episode 1, season 1.
So I'm Torrin Atkinson. I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I'm the lead singer for the Darkest of the Hillside Thickets, a rock and roll band about we sing about Lovecraft and other horrible things. We don't have any songs about sharks, but we do have songs about squids. Yet.
New album coming out.
Sometime in the future, yes.
In the future.
I
Yes.
feel a Caustic Soda theme song coming up.
Yeah, well, it could happen.
And a shark
Caustic
song.
soda. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Kevin.
Bam!
Bam! Tell us about yourself.
Kevin Leeson. I'm a screenwriter and relatively new comedian. And,
Stand-up comic and here in Vancouver, British Columbia.
here in Vancouver, British Columbia, doing my thing. And I know Torrin Atkinson as a comic book publisher as well, which I've published now 2 comics. One called Outnumbered,
Under the
which
Critical
is
Hits
under
comics.
the Critical Hit Comics banner,
Yeah.
which is a superhero story, and to which Torrin Atkinson provided cover art. And then all the interior art Torrin did for us for our latest crime anthology entitled Acts of Violence.
Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Probably by the time that this gets on the
Oh,
internet,
good
we will
call.
be allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm Joe Foljam. I'm the Darkest of the Hillside Thickets webmaster. I
It's
suppose
true.
this is my one tiny, minuscule claim to fame.
Well, you've been involved in improv over the years.
I have. I've done. Used to have an improv troupe where we'd go around and perform at parties and things like that. I've done a few non-professional gigs with the Vancouver Theatre Sports League. I'm sure nobody there knows who I am though, because they were just some amateur presentations. I love improv though. Love theater. Love just sitting around and being funny. So this is kind of something I really wanted to do.
So I'm just going to throw out a topic.
Okay.
New improv.
Okay.
Shark attacks.
Shark attacks. Well, you already heard me talk about how shark attacks are a good thing.
Yes.
Because, the women are
We
gonna love it.
we all just aching to be attacked by sharks
That's
to
right.
improve our careers.
Well, after seeing that girl's scars, I was thinking, maybe I could go out and float in some bioluminescence,
Sure.
get myself a nice shark attack, and then immediately get pulled out. Or perhaps creating some kind of shark attack simulator. I could make some large,
Yeah.
a large wire shark mouth
Yeah.
that could chomp down on me.
You can make some serious money.
Then everybody would make up custom stories for everybody. I was out.
You could get chomped in the body part of your choice.
That's right. We'd have different Shark Simulator mouths. It would.
I want to get attacked by a blue shark.
Wow.
I want to get attacked by a mako shark.
Exactly.
I feel an amusement park ride coming here. Playland, look out!
That's
Here
right.
comes the shark
A giant
attack
roller coaster, and at the
simulator.
end you just get bitten by a shark. That's pretty
right.
sweet.
Instead
No.
of the photos of you going down, you have a photo right at the moment of the teeth penetrating your skin.
It's going to be one of those rides where you get on the log ride or whatever, and somebody gets wet, but nobody knows who's going to get wet. Somebody's going to get bit. Nobody knows. So it's the fear and apprehension that is actually the greatest simulator of the shark attack, because you see it coming.
That's right.
You know it. You think
You hear that music, da-na, da-na, and you're like, whoa, there must be a shark around here.
Wait, I can do that.
I believe it was Florida when an uncle took his nephew to the beach.
An uncle of yours.
No. A
Okay.
random uncle, a stranger.
So you have no personal shark stories.
Uncle, I have no personal shark stories, but this is my all-time
podcast
favorite.
is over.
I have a number of toughest guy in the world stories.
Okay.
And this one is a shark attack one. His nephew was playing on the beach, and a shark came up out of the surf and grabbed his nephew off the beach and hauled him back into the water, like they would, like killer whales do to seals and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this
That's
this
always
shark,
fun to watch on the nature shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this shark pulled him back into the surf, and his uncle waded into the surf, hauled an 8-foot shark out with his bare hands, beat it to death
With his fists?
with his fists,
With his knuckle sandwiches?
so that he could reach down its throat and pull out his nephew's severed arm so that it could be reattached.
Wow. Sweet.
So that is one of my many toughest guy in the world stories.
And that's the only shark's toughest.
And that's the only shark book I
Okay.
have.
My favorite documentary is probably Planet Earth. They have an episode on the open ocean, and you get to see in super slow motion the breach of the great white shark coming out of the ocean, and it comes
I
out
have
all
seen
the way out of the water.
I have
Wow.
seen that
This
in
this
advertisements
20
for
foot
Shark
long,
Week.
this 20 foot long shark. Oh, it's scary.
I kept meaning to watch Planet Earth, and I haven't got around to it.
But I can tell you that the fear of sharks is salacophobia.
Salacophobia.
or as you call it, common sense.
Common sense, that's right. Yeah, fear of sharks is common sense, absolutely.
Does that mean the Latin for shark is salaco?
I don't know. I can tell you the shark word origin. I did a little research here. 1569.
So as much as Joe is unprepared, you are perhaps Torin the
I'm
prepared.
perhaps over-prepared.
These are like medieval names.
1569, of uncertain origin. Apparently the word and the first specimen were brought to London by Captain John Hawkins' second expedition. There is no proper name for it that I know. No is spelled with an E on the end, because this is old-timey. But the certain men of Captain Hawkins's doth call it a shark. And shark also has an E on the end.
How do you think he came up with the name shark?
I don't know. They just get, I'll just call it a shark. With an E on the end.
So sharks are a member of the superorder Selachomorpha.
That is a super order.
That's right, it is a superorder.
So, yeah, I heard something once about sharks not evolving for 400 million years, that they're basically the same as they were way back in, and I quote...
I know that they are one of the most ancient animals.
In the old-timey?
Well, pretty old-timey. That's scientifically called the pretty old-timey period.
Yeah, the earliest known sharks date from more than 420 million years ago, before the time of the dinosaurs. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you. And
Helping me unprepared for several years.
You brought your... Yeah, exactly. Most dangerous sharks? Who knows the list? Top 3.
Tiger.
1.
Great white.
2.
Bull.
Yes, correct,
Wow.
sir. The bull
Did
shark.
you look that up, or did you know that?
I may have looked that up earlier.
Oh,
Oh.
cheater.
I'm sorry, I'm not completely
This.
unprepared.
I happened to, while I was doing my research, my over-preparedness, I came across the International Shark Attack File. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Of course I
Please.
have, Torrin. I know all about it, the International Shark Attack File. It's common knowledge, isn't it?
Well, then you would know that it's a compilation of all known shark attacks that are administered by the American Elasmo Branch Society. You remember?
Absolutely.
In the Florida Museum of Natural History?
Lasmo Branch, really.
You didn't know about the Elasmo Branch?
You know what? That guy, Mr. Lasmo Branch, he's just been a thorn in my side for decades.
I think you're thinking of George Burgess. He's the director. And anyway, if you go to this website, you can access the files, which they've been collecting more than 4,000 investigations covering the period from the mid-1500s, no less, to the present. The mid-1500s, which is 1569. Ye old sharky. You can also, they also have a form. If you've been attacked by a shark, you can fill it out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, can I read to you some of the form?
Well, I find it interesting that they're anticipating that everyone who's attacked by a shark will survive, and so are able to fill out a form.
I don't know.
Well,
everyone.
curiously enough, most people do survive shark attacks, and that is because sharks prefer to strike very quickly,
Yeah.
and then they leave so that their target just
Will bleed to death.
will bleed to
Yeah.
death and die.
But
And
if you're doing what Aquaman would do and swim with a buddy,
that's right. Then that buddy can then get you to safety, and being humans, we've got medicine and can patch you up. And
Well,
just,
if you
just hope
were-
there aren't two sharks.
Or
right.
maybe they're just the Elasmo Branch is just society is just anticipating that if you're bleeding to death, you still have time to fill out the form.
You might. They keep them on the beach.
Yeah.
or maybe you've got an iPod and they've got a wireless on the beach, and you could fill out some kind of web form.
Yeah.
The lifeguard runs into the surf with a
Could be.
laminated form for you to fill out.
And
It's like-
sadly, a wet
We will
erase marker.
administer first aid in a moment, but first you must fill out this survey.
Shark behavior prior to initial strike. Circling victim, following victim closely, shark in position between victim and barrier, i.e. beach. Shark not seen at all prior to contact with victim. That's the one I'm checking.
That's right. Wait a minute, I don't see any sharks. Quick, get out of the water. We're about to be attacked by a shark.
This
And-
sounds exactly like how I meet girls in bars.
You give them the form?
No, I circle
circles
them.
around
I
them.
Oh,
circle
okay.
them and attack when they're not looking.
Now, what is your behavior at the time of your strike, Kevin? Is it did not occur in water?
Wait a minute.
Kevin did not contact victim. Minimum of turmoil. Victim
definitely not
initially
that one.
unaware of situation. Sudden violent interaction between Kevin and victim, or behavior unknown. What do you get checked off most?
I would say 3, 4, and 5 are the most likely to occur
Sweet.
in that environment.
Should we talk about Henry Bourse?
No, you know what I'd like to talk about?
Oh, okay.
I just remembered
Yeah.
where the word shark comes from, because prior to the 16th century and John Hawkins's exhibition Expedition.
Expedition? It was a bit of an expedition as well. Let's not.
Prior to his expedition, sharks were typically known as sea dogs.
I beg your pardon.
Sea dogs. And
Are you thinking of the dogfish, which is a member of the shark family?
Well,
Could be related.
Sea
could
dogs.
be somewhat related. That could be where dogfish, devolved to. But we're prior to the 16th century in Sir John Hawkins, and in 1569 referred to them as sharks, and it's suggested that has been derived from the Yucatec Mayan word for shark, pronounced shock.
Yucatec?
Yucatec Mayan word for shark.
Can you look up Yucatec? I know, but
Well, while we're looking that up, I actually have. I'm looking at this list of.
Hold on.
Yucatec
Mayan,
Can you
is
spell
it
that for
Mayan,
me?
is the Mayan language spoken on the Yucatan
Is this
Peninsula?
Yucatan, Yucatec? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a list of preventing shark attacks.
I got confused with the Lasmo branch.
And most of them are pretty common sense, like don't go in the water where sharks are.
Right, sure.
But then we've got this one here that I just wanted to talk about for a bit, because I think it's some of the wisest information I've seen ever. Avoid bleeding.
Yes. So it's kind of like
Isn't that kind of a good advice all the time?
just all around whether or
Just
not
generally?
you're going to be in the water. Avoid bleeding.
Unless you're using leeches for treatment of something.
Oh yeah.
Well, you could be having your period as well.
And that's
Not you,
I don't think I
specifically,
could.
Joe.
Right.
But.
You and your trained exploding shark.
Oh, the shark, babe, has such teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old Maggie Heath, babe, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with his teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, though, wears old Maggie Heath, babe, so there's never a trace of red. Now on the sidewalk, ooh, Sunday morning, lies a body just oozing life. And someone sneaking round the corner. Could that someone be Mac the Knife? There's a tugboat down by the river, don't you know, where a cement bag just drooping on down. Oh, that cement is just, it's there for the weight to dare. 5 will get you 10 old Mackies back in town. Not you hear about Louis Miller? He disappeared, babe, after drawing out all his hard-earned cash. And now Maggie Heath's been just like a sailor. Could it be our boy's done something rash? Yes, Susie Tawdry, ooh, Miss Lottie Lenya, and old Lucy Brown. Oh, the line forms on the right, babe. Now that Maggie's back in town, I said, Jenny Diver, whoa, Susie Tawdry, look out to Miss Lottie Lenya and old Lucy Brown. Yes, that line forms on the right, babe. Not that Maggie's back in town. Look out, old Maggie is back.
Welcome back to Caustic Soda, talking about shark attacks. We just watched a video on YouTube.
gruesome video.
Comments?
The Henri Bourse, Bource.
Yeah, you'll have to log into YouTube because it is you have to be 18 or over.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's pretty
yeah,
gruesome.
considered adult content. And
Yeah,
it
I wouldn't
is-
want my kids accidentally seeing a guy with, spoiler alert, his legs severed by a shark bite.
Spoiler alert, after a shark attack, you may have less legs.
My favorite part of the clip was the voiceover track by Mr. Boris.
By the guy who's talking about, he's talking
about
about
losing his
what
own
happened.
leg. There's a voiceover track added, and the clip ends with him pointing out that it was another 2 weeks before he would dare brave the water again.
He says that as
Yeah.
though 2 weeks was a long time.
This was 1964 off the coast of Australia, and so they didn't actually catch the shark attack itself so much as hauling him out of the water right after the shark attack
Yeah.
and putting him on the boat, and all the blood is going gushing out of his
Yeah,
stomach.
I don't know how much blood is in the human body pint-wise.
He
but
said he lost 6.5.
he lost 6.5
Yeah.
pints. I don't think there were a whole lot of pints left. I think
I
he
don't
was
know.
That is the kind of
painfully-
information people who were prepared would have had. at
Yes.
hand. You're right.
painfully shy
Also, we're
of
in
pints.
Canada and we don't use the pints. So
Yes,
much.
no, absolutely. But
Not that I can tell you how many liters of blood were in the human body, but
I bet you he was grievously pintless.
he was pintless.
Yeah, he was
Well-
shy of pints. He was a pint shy.
I'm
and
thinking of
quart
a
short.
pint glass, and I'm wondering how much blood would come. How many pint glasses would all my blood if I drained myself fill?
I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of that? Was it a destroyer that was?
Oh, the
sunk?
Indianapolis.
The Indianapolis. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not aware,
This was during the war.
this was during World War II. It was sunk in the Pacific Theater by a Japanese torpedo. By a Japanese torpedo.
I like the fact that there are theaters in war.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You can't get a ticket. Well, you can actually, but you don't want it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, carry on.
In the Pacific Theater, it went down, and almost everybody survived the initial attack. There was only like a couple of casualties from the torpedo attack, but then over the next couple of days before the rescue effort could be mounted, they were picked off one by one.
Yeah,
by
they were
a
in the water
school
for
of
like 3
Ti-
days or something like that.
something like that, and they were picked off slowly but surely by a school of tiger sharks.
And so, how many survived out of how many?
I think it's like
about-
300.
About 900 made it into the water.
Right.
Out of almost 1,200 on board the ship.
Seamen.
Seamen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of seamen in the water.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was something like 300 survivors or something like that.
Yeah.
Like 2/3 of the survivors.
But that was over 3 or 4 days, so it may not all have been shark attacks.
I think there was a lot of shark attacks.
I agree.
I-
I agree.
I think
I'm just
there's-
trying to be scientifically
And I-
accurate here.
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure there's a movie and there's a book and there's but maybe even several movies and several books that that I haven't seen. But I remember one from like the 70s or something like that, and there was a whole lot of shark attacking.
Yeah.
And if we can't believe Hollywood portrayals of real life events,
Then
what can we
I
believe?
agree.
And you would think that if, say, somebody died of wounds he had before or exposure to the elements or something, that the sharks would have got him eventually anyway.
Yeah.
So you're looking at
But
whether
it's more
they're
fun to
killed
attack
by them or
someone
not.
who's alive.
Here's a question. Do sharks eat carrion? I actually don't know the answer to this question.
Yes, they do.
I would think that
Many
they,
sharks are scavengers, but not all of them.
well, from what we know about how they
as I said,
attack,
I've watched a lot of documentaries, so I consider myself a scientist, a marine biologist.
from what we know about how they attack, they like to attack and let things bleed to death,
Yeah.
and then go in and get it.
Yeah,
You need it
some
once
of
it's
them.
dead. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's much of a change from.
If we're talking about the tiger and the bull and the white shark, there's
If
probably
only
more.
there were a
the-
rock band that
the
sang a
apex
song
predator.
about a marine biologist who could weigh in on this
We
subject.
could find out about that.
Because then, if you sing a song about a marine biologist, that practically makes you a marine biologist.
That's what I heard.
I think it makes you the
That's
biggest
how I get
expert
all
in
my
this room.
PhDs. Wasn't there something about the U.S. in Indianapolis was ferrying an atomic bomb or something?
They were coming back from dropping off the world's first operational atomic bomb. They delivered it, and
But this wasn't the one that went to Nagasaki.
I
and
don't have that
Hiroshima.
information. But they were in the Philippines, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't think you're going to be doing much testing out there aside from the actual operational
Yeah,
In the
test.
theater.
That's not really
That's
kind
right.
of a cat you want to let out of the bag before you actually
That's right.
use it.
The sharks. Just think if things had gone a different way, the sharks could have been eating the atomic bomb. Atomic shark.
Atomic shark,
It's an
dino
Austin-
shark.
It's an Austin Powers.
Maybe
Sharktopus.
that's how.
Sharktopus.
Maybe that's how that movie Mega Shark and
Mega Shark.
Giant Octopus
I
started.
saw that movie.
That movie had Lorenzo Lamas in it, a person that
What?
before we started the podcast, you claimed
Mega
you didn't
Shark
know.
versus Giant Octopus.
I
Yeah.
believe it was starring Debbie Gibson and Lorenzo Lamas.
I'm pretty sure.
I know
was
that Debbie
the star.
Gibson was in it.
He was.
It was terrible, by the way, but it did have the benefit of having a giant shark jump out of the ocean and eat a plane.
I saw a chart on the physics of that.
A chart?
A chart on the interwebs just the other day about how fast the shark would have to be going.
Right.
And it showed the shark in the water at a regular depth, looking up and seeing the plane.
Was it illustrated?
It was an illustrated chart. It was like an infographic.
Okay, sure.
And the shark then swam down and got directly underneath where the plane would be, and then came up, and they calculated, I believe it had to be going almost 800 miles an hour straight up in order to reach the height. So it is, as a matter of fact.
I have to interject with a factoid here. For those of you listening, before the podcast began, Torrin Atkinson claimed that he had no idea who Lorenzo Lamas was. So that's background. Joe can back me up on this.
I would agree with that.
And
exactly
Lorenzo Lamas.
I was chided.
Lorenzo Lamas was the male lead in Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus.
Is that a fact?
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
I've just looked it up on IMDb.
I don't even remember. All I remember is Debbie Gibson and her love interest, who was the Japanese fellow, I believe.
Well, Lorenzo Lamas is
important to
most
look up.
definitely not Japanese,
No.
but he is the number one male in the cast list, according to...
Okay, I'm trying
He's,
to
he's
Internet Movie
also,
Database.
I
I believe,
remember a scientist. I remember Debbie Gibson. I remember like the military commander.
Probably the military.
Maybe it was the
commander.
military.
he's also the greasiest
Because
looking
he'd be-
Hollywood actor in history.
Because he'd be quite.
He was also male lead on a sci-fi TV show called The Immortal. Anyways, we're getting way off topic
This has
here.
nothing to do with sharks.
But Mega Shark and Giant Octopus, I imagine that
Have you seen it?
some sort of atomic accident was somewhat to blame. For
I was
the-
only half watching it. Because really, how could you watch that thing with all of your attention?
It stars Lorenzo Lamas and Debbie Gibson. How can you
It's
not?
All-star cast.
Yeah, that seems to be. To
Am
be
I the only
kind
one
of
in this
movie.
room who's seen it?
Yeah, I think
I
so. I
believe
haven't
so.
seen
I
it.
believe so. Please tell us more about it.
I don't want to spoil the ending.
Well, how about you give us the IMDb rates it at 3 stars out of 10? Generous or
I think
they're
that's about accurate.
missing a hidden gem?
No, I think that's about accurate.
But 3.0 out of 10 is
that
what
was
you would
not
give
so
it.
good. But what are some good shark movies? Are we prepared to move on?
Jaws, of course, the first one.
Yeah.
You know, here's the funny part about Jaws, right? I think Jaws came out in what, like 1978, 1979, something like that, in that ballpark. I was obviously too young to see it in theaters. So I've only ever seen Jaws on television, right? And so, of course, you know, I mean, for television purposes, they have to, you know, do some sort of like editing for content and whatever. And the Rio Theater in Vancouver did a midnight screening of Jaws.
Recently?
It's a few months ago, before Christmas.
Yep. It's a traditional Christmas movie.
I was like a traditional midnight Christmas movie, and I went and saw it, and I realized after seeing it on the big screen how much of that movie is cut out of the television version.
Right.
So it was like watching Jaws all over again. I think I can honestly recommend to anybody if they have the opportunity to see Jaws in a theater that they should go do it because they probably haven't seen it.
Well, you can also rent it on the digital versatile disc.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that
Not
is
to
also
discourage patronizing your local cinema, but I'm just saying.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
An interesting thing about Jaws, actually, that I learned recently when I rewatched it, is that Jaws was the first movie in America that was simultaneously released across America. Before Jaws, they would only make a certain number of prints of a movie,
Right.
and those prints would then travel from theater to theater, so that it would be in New York and then move to New Jersey,
Right.
And that kind of thing. And I think Torrin might be old enough to remember this. Way back then, you would get excited about this movie, but you had to wait for it to actually
Arrive.
come to near you. Whereas,
the traveling movie show.
right, it exactly was like that. Where you had to wait for the print to show up, like in your small town of Chilliwack, where you would grow up. Whereas Jaws, they've just said, we're going to try an experiment. We're going to print a whole bunch of prints of it.
Right.
It's going to get released simultaneously across America.
Well, that's probably why it did so well.
I mean, it's
It is
largely
one of the reasons
considered
it did
the
it.
first ever summer blockbuster, right?
Right.
Exactly, and that's why, because they were able to mount a massive marketing campaign to go across America to tell everybody this summer, stay out of the water, or is it don't go into the water?
Something like
I think it's
that.
don't go into the water.
Watch out for Sharky.
Watch
I think
out
was
this summer. Watch out for Sharky.
the official tagline.
And I believe that led to Star Wars doing exactly the same thing later on.
But it's not just a shark movie. It's a very good movie. It's a very well put together
It
film.
is, unlike its sequels. But yeah, it was a Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh, Steven Spielbergo.
For his low-budget Mexican
No,
equivalent.
I can't remember which one of the sequels it was, but I do know that one, I think it might have been Jaws 3D or Jaws 4 or something like that. But I remember the tagline for that movie was the ultra ridiculous, "This time, it's personal."
That's right.
Really, the shark. The shark.
Yeah.
And I think it was the one where the shark followed the wife of Roy Scheider's character
Revenge is a
down the coast to Florida in order to get after her. Or the shark's relative.
just like went all along the coast.
Yeah, she was up in
She would be the
Amityville
most
or
tasty.
whatever, Amity Island, and then she went on vacation in Florida, and it came all the way down to Florida to get her because it was personal.
How about the blatant Jaws ripoff, Orca, where the killer whale wants revenge on the local fishermen?
Is this the one where he
for-
jumps over the child?
That was a Free
No,
Willy.
that's Free
Oh,
Willy.
okay.
Free Willy was the
Orca-
blatant ripoff of Orca.
Orca. Which, it all
Orca
comes
is
full
the
circle.
bloodthirsty version
Oh,
of Free
okay.
Willy
Sure.
before it got Disneyfied.
All right.
Yeah, no.
So you've seen this film?
Orca, yes. The local fisherman captures his lifelong mate and kills the unborn orca child. And the orca witnesses all of this, witnesses the slaughter of his family,
Okay.
and goes bent on revenge. And this fisherman unwisely is building his brand new house on stilts that go into the water, which gives the orca the opportunity
fool.
That
to
fool.
take down
A foolish
his
fool.
brand new house,
Naturally.
have it crash into the surf, and so he can eat
Those
his
got to be
family.
big stilts because orcas are not. This is not like a marsh stilt situation. This is like
No, this is like California, like
Yeah,
Santa
yeah.
Monica coastal,
Okay.
mansion sort of situation.
So this seems to be the hidden message of Orca is it's an anti-abortion movie because it's what it's really mad about is that he killed his unborn child.
the
Actually,
unborn orca child.
the surprising part about Orca was surprisingly entertaining. Was at
You're just
far-
reading that.
No, I'm not reading that at all. I've actually seen the movie Orca, and I was entertained.
Rotten Tomatoes
because
says
I'll tell you what-
surprisingly entertaining.
I'll tell you what Orca did that Jaws did not more effectively. Orca had this Orca POV.
Oh, the
where
orca cam?
You would have an Orca cam, and you
Okay.
would be like seeing everything through the orca's eye, and they put on this wacky fisheye lens, and they put like a red filter on it because his vision would go blood red when he was in a murderous rage.
Oh my god, like a bull.
Yeah, like a bull. And so when you're 11 or 12, very compelling filmmaking.
If only they had
When
an,
you're 11 or 12.
if only they had an
I
orca
have no
cam
idea.
at that aquarium where the recent orca attack was.
Oh.
Did you hear about that, Torrin?
Too soon.
Okay, here's the thing about the recent orca attack. That orca that was the third
I know.
attack that orca has been involved in.
Right.
One prior killing,
Well, 3 strikes, you're out.
then a maiming, and now another killing. How
Well,
many
like my
chances
friend-
does an orca get?
Like my
I
friend
say-
Chris said, it's in the name. It's called a killer whale.
Well, you know what they say.
don't be shocked.
They say that once a whale has been domesticated or put in an aquarium, they can't survive in the wild. I propose that this orca could survive in the wild. This orca could make it on his own. I think they should release him.
I thought you were going to start that sentence off. Once an orca has tasted human flesh,
Well, I think
it'll never be satisfied.
it certainly could survive in the wild if there were a bunch of people standing right next to very deep parts of the ocean, waving balls and fish above it. Then it would be able to get its
True,
amount
I guess
of
it's a very
human
contained
flesh.
vessel. which-
Has anybody seen Open Water, that movie?
I did see Open Water.
I saw it as well. It wasn't great, but it was based on a true story for those of you who don't know.
You know what I think? I think if I'd stumbled upon that accidentally,
Right.
I would have been very entertained by it.
Right.
But I saw it in like a second run theater.
Okay.
After it had won all the awards at all the film festivals, done its first run, and then I saw it at a second run theater, and it was kind of like meh.
I think it was supposed to be it was supposed to be it was an indie film that just got picked up by a major distributor.
Absolutely.
Just kind of like at the last minute.
Yeah, it
So
was
then
a
finally-
shot on video,
Yeah.
no money, no budget.
Yeah, so they
special.
had a lot of marketing for this little film.
Absolutely.
But basically, the story is this couple's on a diving expedition, or not expedition, but a vacation. They get separated from the boat, and they're stuck in the water.
Based
for
loosely
days.
on a true story.
Mhm.
That there was a couple that went out on
And
an
you know what?
expedition.
Based on a true story, the acronym is BOATS.
Wow.
Think about it.
Do, 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 do,
So anyway, so yeah, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it's a good one.
Yeah, again, like if I went to a film festival, didn't know anything about it, and stumbled upon it, I think I would have told all my friends to go see it.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was this giant marketing machine behind it, and I went and saw it,
Your expectations were too
my
high.
expectations were a little bit elevated, I think, from what it deserved.
Okay, so speaking of shark movies, have you seen Deep Blue Sea?
I have seen
with
Deep Blue Sea.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Wait.
Samuel
Samuel
Jackson.
Jackson and
That's
the
right.
super intelligent sharks.
Yeah.
That's
right?
correct, sir.
Now,
Now, were they genetically engineered or something? Or did
Yes.
they,
that's
okay.
what I was about to ask. I didn't remember. I can't remember, but I think that Samuel L. Jackson and his team of crack scientists, which also included LL Cool J, which may
Yes.
be stretching the bounds of reason, but in his crack team of scientists were creating ultra intelligent sharks. Is that not the way? Is that the plot?
And then
That's-
they went too far.
They
It's a
went-
crime against nature.
Well, no. I
They
mean,
were
when you
playing
create
God.
when you create ultra intelligent sharks, they're going to try and eat you.
Well, they're
right?
trying to
That
find a
makes
cure for
perfect sense.
Alzheimer's because
Oh,
shark
okay.
brains can regrow or something along
I know that
those
sharks
lines.
don't get cancer for some reason. But
Okay,
I
that's
didn't know about the
curious.
Alzheimer's.
That's an interesting medical tidbit.
That's right.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you,
The
Hollywood.
factoids and the tidbits.
That's right. I always believe what
Filtered
Hollywood tells me
through,
about science.
Filtered through the blockbusters.
Now, did they in Jaws fashion? How did they? Does anybody remember how they actually stopped?
I'm trying to
those
remember
sharks?
anything about that movie. Because
The,
it
the
wasn't
only
very
part I can
good.
remember about that movie was the amazing "We've got to stand up to these sharks" monologue by Sam
Right.
Jackson.
Oh, and then
He's
Right
standing
before
in front of a big pit of
Should we
open
go ahead and
water.
say what
We've got to go
happens?
get these. I don't think anybody who was going to watch or has not watched the movie and
I
would
suppose.
have.
You-
It's,
I don't remember who the female lead in that movie, but she does spend like the last half of the movie in a wet T-shirt, which
right.
you know, you can't go wrong with
Unless it's B. Arthur.
with your lead actress soaking wet from head to toe for the last half of the film.
So anyway, yeah, there's that monologue, and he's
Yeah.
standing, and he's what she's saying right beside a certain pool. in the,
I
in the
can't remember. I
compound.
can't remember his because all Samuel L. Jackson monologues they all blend together. You
This
know,
is the
I've-
one with bad motherfucker
That's
on.
right. Yeah, we gotta. I'm sick and tired of
Wait,
these motherfucking
so-
snakes on this motherfucking plane. We gotta get
Yeah,
these
yeah.
sharks. We should have brought shotguns.
You totally took my joke. You're gonna make a joke about we gotta get these motherfucking sharks out of this motherfucking tank.
It's pretty much that. I mean, we've
Right.
got to make our stand here, and then all of a sudden the shark jumps in the water and bites him in half.
Yeah.
Drags him into the water, and everybody just stares at him, open mouth.
Oh,
Like,
here's a tidbit of trivia for Deep Blue Sea trivia
oh my.
that I just picked up. And
Yeah,
you may
yeah.
not, because I was about to talk. Remember, I brought up the topic for conversation about how did these sharks die. I seem to remember one of them dying by exploding oxygen tank, just like in Jaws.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the three sharks in Deep Blue Sea are all killed in the same manner and same order as the sharks in Jaws, Jaws 2, and Jaws 3D. A
Oh.
little homage by the filmmakers.
Wow. And, all 12 people in the world that have seen all three movies will have gotten
I think
that.
it's a
Well,
safe
I
bet.
seem to have remembered one being killed by an exploding oxygen tank.
Yeah, that was the first one.
That was obviously, now that I've read the trivia, now
Yeah.
I know that must have been the first one. But I appreciate the razor's edge between ripoff and homage that obviously is.
So our next episode will be about parasites.
Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us on episode 1, season 1 of Caustic Soda.
After what I've given to you in this podcast, I feel like a parasite.
Oh, well, we'll find out more about that later. I'm Torin.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Joe.